Hello, World Schooling families. Do you wish you had more opportunities to connect with others who understand the unique joys and challenges of traveling and learning on the go? Hi, I'm Susie, and I'm excited to invite you to a special virtual World Schoolers meetup happening Friday, August 8th at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This is a chance for parents and kids alike to meet, share, and build community. We'll start with warm introductions, then move into small breakout groups to foster deeper connections. We'll finish up with a big group gathering, and the best part is you can join us for the whole hour or just pop in when it works for you and your family. To join this wonderful gathering, check the show notes, look for upcoming events on my website, or grab a calendar link directly from my Instagram bio. Can't wait to see you there. Also, if you're in Denver, Colorado, join us for the in-person World Schoolers Picnic on September 28th from 12 to 3. Look forward to seeing you. Now let's get on to the episode.
Meet Sarah and Moss, the adventurous parents leading a family of 5 on a 7-year full-time journey around the world. After selling everything they owned, not once but twice, this Italian-American family set out to show their 3 children that life is full of possibilities beyond a single country's borders. They have since embraced a slow travel lifestyle, evolving from traditional schooling to a flexible world schooling approach that follows their children's curiosity.
Welcome to the Wander World School and Slow Family Travel podcast. Please tell me about you and your family.
We've been traveling for 7 years full time. We have 3 kids now, 9, 15, and 16. They were 2, 8, and 9 when we left. Half of us were born in Italy and half of us, well, less than half. I grew up in Italy. I was born in the US. I'm not the real Italian. He is. So him and the older ones are real Italians.
I'd love to hear more about each of your own personal travel origin stories, such as traveling when you were growing up or how that shaped you as an adult.
For me, it was try to discover more about what I like to do. And so I've been a physical therapy most of my life. I started helping kids, rehabilitating kids in the pool with any kind of problem, physical problem, psychological problem. And since then, I was researching about this technique and how to be more natural. I've traveled by myself 4 times in China, learning Qigong, acupuncture, herbal medicine. I traveled by myself 2 times in Thailand to do different modality of healing. And since I met Sarah, we've been traveling all over the place, revisiting some of the places that we've been alone because she traveled before being together. We wanted to show our kids the possibility that you can have traveling instead to just stay in one country. And the more we do it, we realize it's not about traveling, it's about the experience and the open your mind really to the opportunity that are everywhere. That sometimes when you stay in one routine, you miss it.
So you're focused on Eastern healing modalities?
I started with Western training because I did the first physical therapy, and after I was personal trainer, and after I did osteopathic medicine. I realized there is more than muscle, bone, skin. If you don't address the psychological part, you don't get 100% recovery. So I start go deeper in Eastern methodology like acupuncture, twina, cupping, moxa, adjustment, realignment, fascia release, and qigong, and tai chi, breathing work. And I ended up even to do 3 years of shamanic practices in Bali, Indonesia.
In high school, I shadowed a Chinese medicine doctor, and she showed me cupping. And so she did that to my back. But then the next day I had a swim meet and had big circular bruises. People were like, what happened to you? And what about you, Sarah?
My father passed away when my mother was pregnant, so I grew up between two countries. I was born in the US, but my mom was Italian, so we would go back and forth. So for me, traveling was going between Italy and the US for most of my life, which I liked because I was really close to my grandmother. And for me, being on the plane felt closer to my dad. But when I grew up, I started seeing other places, and we continued this process together.
Let's talk about your family travels. You're on your 7th year, which is amazing. How did you kick off this long-term traveling?
When we meet in Italy, we didn't have kids yet. We started dating and we decided to say, let's try, let's give it a try. Boom, arrived Cosimo. So when Emma arrived, our second
Which
one,
was 13 months later than Cosimo. So they're super close in age.
we decided to leave Florence, the town where we used to live in Italy, because we want to try to do something different for our kids. So we sold everything, we leave our jobs, and everybody were thinking we were crazy because we have a good job, we have our own house, and they say, now you have two young kids and you're leaving. Why? But this is insane. The push was in the beginning to try to expand our understanding and try to go to the US. We spent from 2010 to 2018 in the US, living in Phoenix, Arizona. In that 8 years, we have the third child, that is Luca, that is 9 right now. We decided it's not the right place for us. We went crazy the second time and sold everything again, the house, the business. We're supposed to do 1 year, 12 months experience. We said, oh, let's do it just to show them that there is something more than just the US or Italy. And now it's 7 years and counting.
It always starts as 1 year, right? People get the bug and it keeps going.
I meet families and they're like, yeah, it's a gap year, unless they have work situations
Yes.
where they clearly can't. But when they don't really, I'm like, it's not going to be 1 year.
That door's once that
Unless they
door.
like it.
Yeah,
But
true. Which is okay to choose a different lifestyle than traveling, take a break
yeah,
or something. I
or maybe
get the
move to
pull for
something in
that.
another country. That could be another
Exactly.
option.
Yeah,
So
it's an ongoing process.
we're looking for a place to move to, but we can't find it. So that's our excuse right now.
Is it,
We found a few that we really could live longer.
what are those places?
A few years ago, when we went to Costa Rica, we were like, we need to move here. It's a bit expensive, but it's inspiring in many ways.
They were so kind there.
Yeah. Vietnam is the next one. Vietnam kind of stole our heart, so that would be an option.
Everything started with that trip to Thailand.
Yes. So he went to do this workshop in Virginia. He comes back and he says, we're going to Thailand in January. I say, the kids are in school. We can't go. So he goes to school, talks to all the teachers. They're all like, yeah, that definitely will learn more by going to Thailand rather than staying in our class. So he convinced me. I was still very worried that they were losing all their education by going away for 2 weeks. We do this trip. It's amazing. It's like, because it was the first country that we went to, which wasn't Italy or the US where we lived. So we
9
went there.
years, yeah.
He would do this workshop, and every 2 days he had a free day, so we would do stuff together. During one of these trips, the 5 of us, we almost had an accident. We almost went down this hill on a tuk-tuk that Mas was driving because he convinced the guy to rent it to us. And so we were all scared. But then after that night, we all started thinking that was a big adventure. And in that moment, that was like so unique. And so we're like, we should see more. What if we sell everything and explore? So we did. We went back home and gave ourselves a year. So we did everything we had to do. And after a year, we said, ciao, and left. We had a bucket list, like we all added on places we want to do. So we followed everybody's desires.
That's great to get the children's buy-in that way. Was the first year fast travel style, and how has that evolved for your family?
The first year we did 14 countries. I was fast. But everybody was excited. So you have that energy because you're excited. Everything is new. Everything is here. Also, if there was some negative things, we didn't care because everything, oh, it's 1 year. And then we got tired. I think COVID happened at the right time to give us a break.
Slow down.
Yeah.
So after COVID, it just shifted.
Right now, we just get one-way ticket. We don't buy the back one.
We don't know where we're
And
going.
we don't know how long we stay.
Clearly there is a visa to consider, but we at least stayed a time of the visa, or at least a month. We have a few things, but mainly connected to our kids. We know where we're going now because they are doing a teen retreat. And so we know we're going to Peru. And we've known this for a year. We do not like to plan far ahead. Now we need more time to just be. We do adventure and see things, but we don't need to see everything. So we'll go in a place and do things. Sometimes we don't even do things, all of us, because sometimes not everybody wants to come, but we don't run around the whole country.
We like to do the cooking class or experience, I put it just in charge, to visit our friend in Mexico. And he brought us to hug and pet the whale.
Yeah, our kids will never forget that.
When we went to see the ramen museum, that was really cool.
We made the instant ramen in Japan.
Yeah.
We did chocolate museums, it's still in Belgium, but it was cool because we had done a coffee experience in Costa Rica, and they also showed how they made the cacao. It was like connecting the dots, right? From the other side of the world where chocolate is a big deal, it made sense.
Chocolate and coffee are so ingrained in our culture. To understand where those come from is really important. How do you approach learning and education now, but also over the past few years?
We left with the school books because we're like, oh, we're just going to do the same thing. The principal that was going to do like a tutoring, she was going to check on them every few weeks. And we thought that was so smart. And then after a few weeks, it was terrible. It wasn't working out. Mas was driving and I was trying to do the schooling thing on the camper van, and my kids were both crying. And the other one was like, let's play. I don't know what we were thinking. Desperately one night, I wrote in the World Schoolers group asking, how do you educate your kids if you're traveling? I got profound responses. Nobody was judging. They just gave me their answers. And then we went to the World School Family Summit, and families that had the same dilemma. And so other families were explaining the different types of education they did. And you could find where you fit in. We couldn't let go of school, but we didn't want to do it the same way. Through the years, we went from letting go, doing some online, to unschooling completely.
You have to unschool yourself first. If you don't change your mindset, it's going to be a problem. It took us 3.5 years to understand this, decided, oh, we are the problem. So, okay, let's start changing something on the way we think and how we process the information. And at that moment, there was the big shift. And now really we found finally, without pressing anybody and without even thinking about the judgment of other people at this point, I said, whatever, who cares? The kids found their own way and love it. They're thriving with this new system that we found.
Yeah.
All the three of them. Every morning they do it without us saying anything. And they talk to us all the time. Oh, I learned this. This is cool. Let's do this together. Let's try this. Sure.
You choose to learn, right? Not forced to learn, because that's when you lose interest. Some things are hard, but they push through because they chose, they're attending this pro academy, an online school. It gives them credits for college. So that kind of gives peace of mind to all our friends and families who are very worried about the future of our children.
Yeah.
We weren't that concerned, but this gives them that benefit too.
It's understandable. Oh, you are ruining your kids, destroying your family. Why you are doing this? You're wasting all this money. Just go around. You are in vacation all the time. It's not a good thing to teach them. But from our perspective, seeing how we change and how we grow together as a family and as individual, each time we go somewhere or meet somebody, they tell us, what did you do with your kids? They come and tell us things. They want to talk before doing things. And Cosimo the other day, Cosimo is 16, and it came to me and said, why all these kids that my age, they have all this problem? Because of the emotional baggage that they carry with them.
You connected to teens. Teens are terrible, but it's not true. They're just finding their balance between who they were as a child and who they are becoming as an adult. It's such a big struggle because then you're trying to figure out, now I'm going to take responsibility of my life. but I still feel like I want to be a child. Such a big unbalance in that moment, and we just judge it in such a wrong way. And if you just listen and support them, they will be just as they were when younger. When you just judge them, give them a label because they're teens, they don't get it, they have problems, that's when they'll rebel and not talk to you anymore because you're not interested in listening.
Meeting them on their level is really important. I've worked with high schoolers. When you're one-on-one and showing real interest in who they are and how you can help them, it's amazing how they open up and really put a lot of words to what they're experiencing that maybe they wouldn't if they feel like you don't want to listen to that. How old were they when you took off to Thailand for the first time? Okay.
Emma was 7 and Cosimo 8, the year after we left.
And how has their perspectives about traveling evolved over your years traveling as well?
Luca is probably the one that has really grown up in it. He's been more around the world than in one place. Emma was having a hard time leaving her home that we sold. As we went on, I feel she was more into this new reality. Cosimo was always excited. Cosimo is happier to slow down. Well,
He found what he's really like. He want to have time to explore this kind of stuff. When you start going like we were going before, he doesn't have time to explore it.
at one point of our unschooling journey, I said every month you have to write a list of things you would like to learn more about. And every month you have to experience one. This project lasted 1 month because they picked one subject and they got so into it that then we just lost the whole project idea. But that started a new thing. He got into crochet. It became his passion and way of relaxing. So we went from crochet to doing stop motions about his crochet animals. He's learned more topics along the way. And he always says, if I was in school, I would have never learned all this because I would never have had, oh, there's Luca.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on traveling and what your favorite place has been.
Traveling because I think it's fun, but I don't really know my favorite place yet.
Every now and then you say Bhutan or
That's because it snows.
That was Bulgaria where you went skiing. It was Bhutan. One of his birthdays was there. He always loved it.
It's nice to hear directly from the children.
Emma is different, as in
Here.
she's a baker. She is more like every country. You're always curious to see, okay, what is she going to explore here? She's always trying different things, which when I was growing up, if you tried more things, it was seen as like you were not consistent. And I'm always telling her, I'm like, no, you experiment because this is when you experiment, because then maybe there's that thing that you can't be without. And right now it's been cooking for a while.
How do you think self-directed curiosity developed? Was it something that like early on you were encouraging, or what helped? We have a bunch of time this summer and I would love to just give my kids endless time to develop their interests.
In our case, we would do experiences oriented towards, oh, in this country, do this, let's see it. When we were in lockdown, we had started the YouTube channel then, and it went really well because my videos were all about Nepal and everybody was home. And so while we were there, we decided to do an interview to a painter that was there. And we thought, let's make it educational. Let's ask these people to teach something to our kids, not because they have to become a painter, but just because you learn when you try stuff. From then on, we started doing videos that we called People We Meet, where we would interview and they would in some way teach them something or show them something. And so that was a way for us to show that most of these people did not go to school for that. Not against school, but that it's not the only way you can build your career. There's not just what you do in school.
School can be a launching point, but it's often not the only way to develop a lifelong passion or a career.
They say, oh, you're millionaires because you travel. I'm like, no, you can get a job online and you can travel too. You can have a house sitting so you don't have to pay for it. I mean, there's so many ways if you have a bit of a flexibility. There is so much you can do. If they start something and then they're not into it, I'm not going to force them to continue that route because that's when it doesn't become something they enjoy anymore. You just support whatever they're curious about. He tried so many things and then maybe he doesn't oh, I don't think I want to do this anymore. It's fine. We move on to another thing. This is the phase when they can try sports, they can try whatever they're curious of doing. Cosimo and Emma learn in crochet because they met these two kids in a campsite we were at. And they gifted us these little crochet things for Christmas to put on the tree. And they thought it was so cool that you could make something and gift it, that they both got YouTube and looked up a video to start doing it. Emma still knits a little bit, but she does a bunch of other things. In Tanzania, our car broke down in front of lions. And a bunch of men stopped and helped our guide, who was fixing it in front of the lions, to help him start the car again. And she made all these friendship bracelets to thank them. They were so touched by that.
How have hubs played a role in your travels?
So when we started, there was no hubs. There was these meetups like the Project World School. So they started as doing these teen retreats because she was seeking community for her son. And then she decided to make this big gathering because families wanted to come together. And for us, it was eye-opening. I think it was really what made us decide to continue. Just seeing that there was so many, and it was good for our kids too. They realized they had many friends around the world. We went to 4 of them through the years, and we did talk to the last 3. And you could share something that was related to world schooling. It was a good exchange and a moment of community. We did a few paid hubs, mainly for creating connection for our kids and us, because when you're traveling, you might be alone. And still, before COVID, there wasn't as many people traveling. So it was an excuse to connect with more families. I respect the people that create the hubs because it's a great way. And there's a lot of families that need that to start traveling because they need to feel secured. My kids had fun, but especially with the first one we did, there was kind of a bunch of little issues that made my 5 weeks in the hub been a lot of complaining. So I don't love that anymore. We did a few free ones in Asia and they were okay. They had these scheduled events and you meet, there's no paying money. So it was good for people because they pass through Kuala Lumpur and you can find communities. And then there is the weekly ones, which we hosted too. And they're good too, but there is a big program of stuff to do. So then it's like, are we doing a tour or are we connecting? And that's tricky because the ones we attended were always 2 million families, but the ones that are smaller, then you connect. And that was our goal when we made our pop-up in Florence this time, which we had already done, hosted it through World Schooling pop-ups. This one was 8 families. It was great. Kids played all together. Teens were not, being cool and going their own way. They were actually engaged with the kids. And then they had moments when they were talking between them, but they would always include the younger ones. There was never this difference.
Every family's coming at it with different expectations or different needs, whether it's I do need a drop off so I can work, or because I need space, or I really just want to use this as a way to meet other families. Everyone has different budgets and price points. So it can be a lot to meld perfectly together. I'd like to jump in a little bit more about the financial and logistical side of long-term traveling. A lot of families, their first question is, how is this possible? So how do you fund your travels and what financial advice would you have if someone wanted to long-term travel?
We didn't plan the way things worked out, but they worked out really well for us because we had our homes in Italy and we sold them. And when we moved to the US, the dollar was going really badly. And so we decided to buy homes. Again, it was a hard time because it was 2010. It was still so cheap in Arizona. And so we just bought houses thinking we'll just put the money there so it's not in a bank and then we'll rent it. And we rented it. The rent kept improving. It was consistent. Our biggest income is our rental properties. We sold our home because it was bigger. So we decided to sell it and we invested the money. We started a YouTube channel. I wrote a few children's books and I'm still writing some. I guess you get creative, then you start getting inspired to do more things. The YouTube is a video journal for us. It was also a way because now we go places, we want to do an experience and we say, we have a YouTube channel. And so we get a bit of a discount or free. So it works.
That is great. You get to have somewhere that helps you remember your experiences. Kids change all the time and love looking back at videos and pictures of them
Yeah.
when they were younger. What are some tips for cutting costs?
House sitting, traveling during low season, which now is not really a thing because it doesn't seem like anybody's staying home, eating at home as much as you can, especially if you're traveling in expensive countries.
Change a way to go around. Like lately, we got buses or
Yeah.
train, or even when cross country, instead to get the plane because now it's really expensive after COVID, especially for 5 people. We did a long journey in Thailand with the bus, but it was $20 each person
Wow.
and grocery shopping all the time, maybe local market in Hoi An in Vietnam. We were going with a bicycle, so no gas. Me and Emma every morning to the local market. The most expensive grocery we did over there was maybe $15. If you really go in a place and spend time to see how the other people live, you save a lot of money.
Very true.
A practical example right now in Turkey, you have to bargain for everything. So finally, I got a motorbike. I got it for now, this is the fifth day. Didn't refill it because it's so cheap and it doesn't consume anything. And I got it for 10 days, $100.
If you rent a place for longer.
We did the house sit for Christmas for 15 days in France. It was really nice. It didn't cost nothing. And we have eggs because they have chicken.
Oh, that-
But he let them out for Christmas because he felt bad. They didn't get to go on the other side of the gate.
Great.
We make a video. She was laughing because the 5 of us couldn't get them inside.
Them back in. There is so many ways when they say you have to be a millionaire, it's just like, come on, seriously. That's such an old story.
To get a better idea of your past spending, you provided a 1 month snapshot of some past expenses when you spent a month in Hoi An, Vietnam, and you put your spending at about 2,300 for the month. What did that
About.
include?
The rent was $1,000. We were lucky because Hoi An is getting more expensive, but this house had just been finished and they were going to put it on the market, but they hadn't yet, so they gave us a good deal.
Found it when we were bicycling around. We saw it. We went in, knocked the door. They opened the door and say, "Oh yeah, you want to rent it? Come and see it."
Yeah, now when we go in a new place, we tend to book a hotel for the first few nights. Sometimes we picked the wrong area. Once we get there, we ask or we just go around. And so we can figure out better which area makes sense. That one had groceries, mostly at the market. And there was a grocery store. And then the experiences we did were pretty cheap. The rent of the bikes was like $100 for 4 bikes.
That makes it easy to get around.
Food wasn't too bad. We enjoyed cooking, so we don't really need to go out all the time. We like to go out for coffee there because the coffee is nice.
Because they have particular coffee. They have
Pretty.
coconut coffee, stuff you don't find anywhere
Yeah.
else. So and the
Yeah.
places they were serving coffee were much nicer because most were on the rice field. You
Yeah,
were
so
sitting with the
nice.
view of the rice field. It was really worth it.
People
Yeah.
often talk about food as a way to experience culture, but it doesn't have to be a big meal out. It can be getting a coffee somewhere, especially here in Spain. Cafe culture is very strong. Two euros to get a coffee, sit out in the morning and experience the sunshine, and you could do some of the cooking at home. When we were in Southeast Asia, we did a bunch of cooking classes. It was pre-kids. I can't wait to go back with kids and do a cooking class and then take those skills back home and put them to use.
In that like Rio ramen in Japan where he was making it, and then we didn't actually make the soup for the ramen, but since then I'm always making the ramen soup. Like I found a recipe and now I just make whatever, but it started from being in Japan.
Part of keeping it real with long-term travel is there are challenges. What are some struggles or challenges you've experienced in your long-term travels?
We had this light bulb moment where we were struggling because some of us want to do more than others. And at one point we were like, we don't have to do everything together all the time. We struggled for a while because half of us were not very happy about it. But then when the half that didn't want to go said, I'm not coming, it was sad, but maybe it isn't sad because first of all, we make a video of everything. So they're going to see it anyway. Yeah, it's worse if you do something you don't feel like doing.
I say yes, because we finally make a peace. That is the other thing you had to learn to accept that we are five people. Most of the time, they think kids just do things because you tell them to know. If you want a healthy relationship, talk to them and ask what they want to really do and if they want to come along. Another thing we learn is to stay together and enjoy the time. People think you see new places and don't have any worry. It's not true. We have the same worry, and it's more challenging because you are in an uncomfortable situation all the time, because you have the moment of the experience that is fun, but after that you have all the other up and down of emotional things, and you have to deal with them 24-hour 7 days a week. There is no break. People do a normal life, they take a break because drop them off in school and they pick them up and bring into the activity, and they just see them maybe 1 hour 2 hours for lunch or dinner, and that's it. It's not the situation here, it's the opposite, but that's what we learn, and that's our strength as a family.
Challenges of going in a new place because you just got used to the one before. It seems simple, but it isn't always, because you can't figure out how something works in a different language. Sometimes it's tiring. And the safety, you have to figure out, do I feel safe here? Just because people tell you a place is not safe doesn't, it's not true. It's how you feel. If you feel it's not safe, okay, you should follow that. Just because people tell you it isn't, depends what kind of lifestyle you do. They told us South Africa, Cape Town wasn't safe, but we don't go out at night. We can cook at home. And the areas we would see were all the touristy areas during the day. So, okay, maybe it's not the safest place, but I'm not going to put myself in a situation. But you have all the stress of everybody else that's worried because they all know that it's not safe there, apparently. You have to bring all the baggage from other people.
That's a skill to block out noise, feel confident in your family's decisions, and work as a team to figure out what's best for everyone. But also to highlight some of the positive parts of being a long-term traveling family. What are some recent highlights?
Oh, we get to be together all the time. Oh, that's cool. I love the change too. It's annoying, but it keeps you alive because you're like, okay, now we're changing. We have flow to it. It's exciting. Now we're going to Peru, so everybody's getting excited about how is the food going to be. Oh, the weather is cooler. That's the most exciting part. There's all these things we don't know, so it's exciting. We don't have that thing, oh my gosh, we're going to Peru. But no, actually, oh, okay, what's Peru going to have in store for us?
I love that.
What are we gonna eat in Peru?
That's his worry.
You're right. Food changes around the world. You have to adapt.
And younger kids sometimes
because
don't adapt.
because the thing for us, it's really try the food, local food. We don't want it. Otherwise, every time we go a new place, I ask, what is the original food from here? What you like to eat? But we find out, I was surprised that in Japan, no, they don't eat sushi.
Not as much
I
as you
was
would.
shocked. I said, how's it possible? They said for them, sushi, it's a very expensive meal, and they eat it mostly once a month. From our perspective, we think they eat sushi every day. No, they don't.
That's true. It's been a long time since my husband and I were in Cusco. I know they guinea pig.
Yesterday, Emma was talking to her friends. They say, oh, it tastes like chicken. So yeah, that's still happening.
That might be on the menu.
But again, they help you to change your perspective toward the food too, because we went to Australia. And for us, the kangaroo and koala were so nice. They told us they actually go hunting them to eat them. For them, it's normal. And they say, "Oh, come on, you eating like kangaroo?" And they say,
We're
"You
good.
eat horses." So what is
Yeah.
what is the difference? That is true.
In Nuuk, we see there was something happening in this space, and Mas is like, oh, guys, come and see. There's a fish market. We go inside. There was seals and dolphins, and my kids are like, no. But that's what they eat there.
Yeah, that's right outside their front door. Different perspective, different culture is very eye-opening. Sharing resources can be helpful to families as they get inspired for long-term travel. What resources have been helpful for you?
For finding community and all that, we are on World Schoolers and we are World Schoolers. It's been helpful. A lot of people have great insights on things you were stuck on. For learning, we did Time for Learning for a few years. Then my kids moved on to unschooling for a while, and now they're doing Acellus Academy. So they get credits for college, and it doesn't cost a fortune. Luca does reading eggs and some
Okay.
workbooks for his
Okay.
learning.
What is your household language?
Italian and English. Emma's really good. She will start Duolingo in every place. She did Turkey, Japan, Spanish, Vietnamese for 2 seconds, but she's
Okay.
really good with the accents. Then they'll go off talking too much and be like, ah, she's really into it.
If people want to connect with you more, you mentioned that you do trip planning.
So we have a website, which there is a blog and there is a page of resources we've been using. And then we have our YouTube channel. We're on social media. I wrote 2 children's books. It's the same story evolving. I'm a travel agent, so I can plan people's trips if they want.
Thank you for sharing all that. When people seek out travel planning services, what are they mainly looking for?
I try to focus more on family travel just because I have more
you
that
know.
I can share about it. So I guess if people that are traveling for 2 weeks during the year are going to spend whatever, so it could be luxury too because they've saved throughout the year. Well, like us that travel full time, maybe are just looking for a cheaper flight, maybe experiences. So there's a little bit of everything.
Oh, that's really exciting. I have a good friend that wants to be a travel agent. I love trip planning, but I spend an exorbitant amount of time planning our own. This has been awesome to hear about your experiences. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on or share that I didn't ask about?
Thing that I got in mind, if somebody has some kind of doubt in their mind, I would try, don't go crazy like we did and sell everything, because that could be scary, jump in the nothingness. But try with an open mind. Don't do an experience with the same mindset that you have at home. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble because it's not going to be the same thing. You're going to have some kind of shock, let's say. But if you keep an open mind and try with your family, I think you're going to be surprised what amazing things can come out and surprise you because you didn't expect that reaction or emotional thing from your kids or wife or from your husband. That could be something that help you to decide if you want to travel or not.
That's a beautiful point to end on. And thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you.